हमारे हिंदुस्तान में ना एक बहुत ही खतरनाक वाला स्टीरियोटाइप है कि जो आदमी लोग हैं ना वो बहुत अच्छा सेव करते हैं, वो घर चलाते हैं, और जो लेडीज है ना वो क्या करते हैं कि वो दे हैव बीन ट्रेन्ड टू ऑलवेज टेक केयर। या तो वो बच्चों का ख्याल रखेंगी, या तो पेट्स का ख्याल रखेंगी, या तो अपने हस्बैंड का ख्याल रखेंगी। बट उन्हें, जबकि हमें पता है कि सबसे ज्यादा अच्छे से वही सेव करती है, आदमियों से भी ज्यादा अच्छे से। तो आज उस स्टीरियोटाइप को मतलब एक एक बहुत ही प्यारी बुक के जरिए तोड़ा गया है। और आई थिंक there could not be a better person to deal with this, जिन्होंने इस स्टीरियोटाइप को आई थिंक पिछले 30 साल से तोड़ते आ रही हैं। हजारों लाखों फीमेल्स को इन इंडिया एंड अब्रॉड इन्होंने एम्पावर किया है। इस किताब का नाम है बी फाइनेंशियली स्मार्ट बाय नीता मेनेसेस। आज वो हमारे साथ लाइव इस स्टूडियो में है, हमारे इस पॉडकास्ट में। Love to have you, Nita. सबसे पहले I mean,
Thank you so much.
this book that you have written, मेरे को इतना कुछ पूछना है ना इसके बारे में, but the first thing first, 3 decades you have been into finance sector, and सबसे बड़ा challenge as a woman when you entered this sector.
The biggest challenge when I realized when I started on my own was we all knew at home how to save money. My mom was an awesome saver. I thought my dad was an accountant and so he knew everything about money. So I safely thought, being a science student, that I don't need to know about money.
Okay.
So the biggest challenge was saving was there, but how to make your money grow. Financial literacy bilkul nahi tha. And that's when I thought ki I need to understand what is this important thing called money.
Nita, सबसे पहला लेसन जो लाइफ ने आपको सिखाया अबाउट मनी वो क्या?
Absolutely. That's the real thing which actually changed my career path. So I started off at an early age, like I was telling you, Rahul. And I had saved a lot of money. It was in the bank. And my dad was about to retire when I was in my 12th standard. And he said, there's this wonderful scheme जिसमें आपको 20% के ऊपर रिटर्न्स मिलने वाले हैं, पोस्ट डेटेड चेक्स, और एक गिफ्ट भी है. He said there was a hair dryer. And in the 1990s, at that time, a hair dryer was like, wow, I wanted that possession. And I said, yes, I will invest my money. My dad invested his retirement money as well. And 1 साल के पोस्ट डेटेड चेक्स हाथ में आए, हेयर ड्रायर आया, येलो कलर हेयर ड्रायर, आज भी मुझे वो याद है. And after 2 months, the first month I put the check and cashed the post dated interest check, as you say. 20,000 रुपए डाले थे तभी. The first check got encashed. I was very happy. Hair dryer भी अच्छा चल रहा था. Second check also got encashed. तीसरा check जो था bounce हो गया. I waited. I asked my dad. He said, "नहीं, there could be some problem." Fourth check bounced again. That's when I got a little worried. I said, "What's happened to my money?" When I asked my dad, he said, "मैंने तुमसे 3 गुना ज़्यादा डाल दिया है. मेरा पैसा भी, my checks are also getting bounced." So he said, "Don't tell me. I'm just trying to find out." And that's when I actually cried and I told him, "Dad, it's my hard-earned money." He said, "So is it mine." And I realized after that it was in the news. This was a scheme at that point of time. I can name the scheme as well. It was a corporate deposit called CRB Bhansali scheme, in which a lot of people lost their money. There were retirees who put in their hard-earned money in that scheme, got huge incentives in the form of gifts. बाकी वो हेयर ड्रायर जैसा मेरे पास रहा, उनका गिफ्ट रहा, लेकिन all the checks bounced, capital lost. There were people who borrowed money and invested in the scheme, and they all lost it. That's when I said, money is very important, but I need to figure out this crazy thing, but very important thing called money, and I decided to understand more about it. That taught me a lesson, and from being a doctor, I always wanted to be a doctor, I decided to change my trajectory and move to financial literacy, understand finance. I got a job immediately in insurance, and then I started studying more about this entire path, which has been the last few decades that I've been into this, and I've been advising and talking to clients about this. So that was the thing which actually changed my career path, and I'm so glad, because a lot of my surgeon clients later on told me, "Thank God, Nita, you didn't become a medical doctor, you are a financial doctor."
So Nita, I think जो इंसान इतने सारे साल, more than 2 decades you have worked in the insurance sector. तो मुझे लगता है कि वो दुनिया का सबसे ज्यादा उसने सब कुछ देख लिया होगा,
Right.
क्योंकि उसने इतनी सारी कोल्ड कॉल्स, इतनी सारी रिजेक्शंस कि भाई क्यों बार बार फोन कर रहे हो, मैंने बोला तो है कि नहीं करानी है. तो आई थिंक आपने तो मतलब जिंदगी में सब कुछ देख लिया. व्हाट वाज दोज अनकन्वेंशनल स्ट्रैटेजीज जो आपके लिए काम करा और आपको लगता है कि हिंदुस्तान में ये जरूर काम करेगा बट लोग करते नहीं?
Believe me, I started my career with insurance. I did everything from cold calling to door knocking to, everything. After that I became a development officer. I recruited advisors. I trained them. And then I realized it's not just about insurance. Because if I want to create wealth, insurance will not help me. It is risk management. If I want to generate wealth, I need to invest my money. So I did my fellowship in life insurance. Post that, I did my certified financial planning. And then I started investing my money. The simple things that I would like to tell people, it's not complex. It is simple. You need to first understand the basics. You need to ensure that you have the habit and discipline of saving and investing on a regular basis. That was what was missing when I was young. That was what was missing in my family, because we knew saving, and a lot of people at that point of time. That time markets were, Rahul, at around 6,000 or even lesser. Today as we talk, the markets have crossed 80,000. So imagine if I would have saved that money at that point of time in maybe even a simple mutual fund, it would have grown so many times. But there was lack of awareness at that point of time. Today there is more awareness, but still it talks about habit and discipline, investing regularly and investing in a proper asset allocation. So that is what is important, which I've talked about in my book. It's about understanding the basics, right? Knowing what you want your money to do for you. A lot of people don't know that. Because when I was talking to a lot of my clients, once I finished with insurance, I said, okay, now I need to understand more. I did my CFP. I kept upgrading and updating myself as well to understand what is more. I had a lot of insurance policies myself. But I realized that this will not make wealth for me. Because एक बीमारी है इंडिया में, actually globally भी, लोग investment और insurance mix करने की बीमारी करते हैं. And the returns are low. And the other बीमारी is कम insurance लेने की बीमारी. कार की इंश्योरेंस पूरा लेंगे, लेकिन खुद का इंश्योरेंस they decide कि हाँ 20 लाख काफी है. So they may be having loans, they may be having so many things that causes, there's no risk management. So clients come to me at times saying, I want to invest my money. 1 crore है, आपको मुझे इन्वेस्ट करना है. Ask them, do you have a risk management plan? They don't have it. They don't have health insurance. They don't have term insurance. They don't have an emergency fund. And COVID mein, actually a lot of people got to realize what are the importance of these 3 things. Because you don't need to invest your money without, it's like, a safety net agar nahi hai, to aap trapeze artist jaise, you can fall at any point of time. So you need a proper safety net.
Financial planning की जैसे आपने बात करी, and you are married to someone who travels around the world, और उनकी वजह से आपने, you have traveled around the world.
Yes.
And you have seen the difference between how people financially plan themselves in India versus other countries. तो सबसे बड़ा difference क्या है?
So let me share this example of, the story of what happened when I went for the first time. My husband, as I said, he's the biggest support to me. Thanks to him, I could take all these decisions, because it's about having conversations at home, and that's what we do. And he was working on a cruise liner. Okay, and when I went on a cruise with him for the first time, when I went to UK, I was on a cruise, and there was a gentleman who may be around in his 50s or 60s at that point of time. And I happened to talk to him. I love meeting and talking to people. So he told me he was booked on a cruise for almost 6 cruises in a row. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I said, oh, what do you do? So he said, right now I'm retired. I'm 55 or so. He said, my son is staying in my house in UK with his partner. He's paying me rent.
Oh.
And I am on a cruise. So the next 6 months, I'm free. I'm financially free today. And I was so shocked, because here in India, when I used to talk to clients, the parents are continuing to work even after retirement, because they're still paying bills, they're paying home loans, they're sending their children abroad for education, but they're still spending that money here. So that's the difference. And I said, it's important that we need to, and he was perfectly healthy, super fit. He said, it's important, Nita, that you need to ensure that you take care of your health so that I can enjoy my wealth. I'm doing that today, and my son has his life. He's doing that. So that was the difference I found. So when I came back, I also realized on the cruise, when I was talking to a lot of people working there, many Indians, they had invested. When they come in here, all the banks and RMs would call them. They would put it in some schemes. They would then be on a holiday and time to go back to work. So either it was property or it was some bank deposit. They had no clue what their money is doing for them. So the actual thing that I decided at that time, I had this conversation with my husband, and I said, we need to plan our finances in a proper way. I realized when I went with him to UK, as I was telling you before, I asked him, where is your money? He was earning in pounds. And where was the money? It was in the current account. I said, why would you keep it in a current account? He was a food and beverage manager. So when I went, and like I said, I asked him, where is the money lying? He said, it's in the current account. I said, why in the current account? He said, what's the difference? I mean, he was a food and beverage manager earning well. He said, what happens in a current account? I said, current account does not give you any interest. He said, oh, is that so? So that's when I decided we need to plan our finances. And the first example, I first did it for myself, for my family. We gave ourselves 5 years. We said we were planning to have a son, a child. So we planned that. I said, okay, in 5 years, once you come back to India, I want us to settle in India. Either we be together here or go abroad, and we will plan our finances. So I actually first created my own financial plan, saw the success, and then I started advising others. So today, when I'm able to do it, it's with more confidence.
There is a debate which we generally encounter, people saying कि 9 to 5 is a trap. और आप जितना ज़्यादा इसमें घूमते हैं, जितना ज़्यादा इसमें घुस जाते हैं, आपको एक आदत पड़ जाती है कि हर 31 की तारीख को आपके पास सैलरी आएगी और आप उसी हिसाब से अपने फाइनेंसेस एडजस्ट करते हैं. एंड यू कैन नॉट इवन थिंक कि एक महीने के लिए सैलरी नहीं आई, आपका दिमाग खराब. सो आप सोचिए कि इस ट्रैप से निकलना कितना मुश्किल है. और हिंदुस्तान में मोस्ट ऑफ द अर्बन पॉपुलेशन दे आर इनटू दिस ट्रैप ओनली. तो उनसे निकलने के लिए, उस एक ट्रैप से निकलना सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल है. एक बहुत बड़ा लीप ऑफ फेथ चाहिए होता है. वो कैसे कर सकते हैं?
More than leap of faith, I can tell you, because I've experienced this myself. I have worked for around 25 years. 5 years back, I decided to take this leap of faith. But more than that leap of faith, it is about having a cushion. I had the power of choice.
और वो cushion क्या है?
So that was when I had started investing my money. I'd ensured I had kept some amount to give me financial freedom.
Okay.
So that is where I ensured that that money is growing and compounding, so that when I decided to take that leap of faith, there is a cushion which is able to take care of my regular expenses. Because today everyone thinks they want to be an entrepreneur. But you have your daily needs that are required, right? Your roti, kapda, makan to chahiye. But if you don't make a provision for that, you need to have a corpus set aside for that when you take that leap of faith. Then you will be able to be more confident. So for me, I started investing. I had a goal, okay, I want to start off on my own, maybe 5 years down the line. So I started saving for that from on a regular basis. And I decided once that was nearing my goal, I could take that leap of faith. So I didn't need to worry about the money part. Because believe me, money is very important. It is an important tool. It will not give you happiness alone, but it will help you get a lot of things. So once I started saving and investing, that money, that corpus was actually like a safety net for me. So if things would not go right, there was a backing there. So it's very tempting, that ting sound when it comes on your mobile, ki salary credited. And I was used to that for years. But once when I started on my own, I was the peon, I was the boss, I was everything. I had to do everything again from scratch 5 years back. But believe me, that was something which drives me. And once you get into that, but with that cushion, it becomes much more easier.
One financial advice you would love to give to this generation, the Gen Z generation?
Start right now. That would be the thing. It's never too late. I tell the ones who have reached 45, 50. But I tell the younger generation, you have something which none of us have. That is time. So as I said, the word smart, financially smart, each letter it's an acronym. So S stands for saving. We need to save. We need to, M stands for money management skills. Believe me, a person, I've dealt with celebrities who are earning in crores. I've dealt with surgeons who are earning a huge sum of amount, business owners. It's not about how much money you make. It's what you keep from what you make. So even if you're having 10,000, if you're able to save 10% for that lifestyle goal or 10% for that financial freedom goal, it gives you that power of choice. So it is about start now, start small, but start, because there's a magical power of compounding. And believe me, it's a magical power. So I tell a lot of youngsters, including my son, basically we all want to be super fit. You can't be super fit in 2 months, 3 months. It requires exercise, it requires diet, it requires good habits. Okay, so you want to get into bodybuilding, you will go to the gym, but you cannot do that within 1 week. You need to give it time. So the A1, so out of smarter, M, as I said, is money management skill. A stands for attitude. It all starts from the mindset. We've also having a lot of money messages that keep coming to us from years. That money doesn't grow on trees, I can't afford this. We have to change that language today. The R is the resources. We have a smartphone. All youngsters today have a smartphone. No one has that old Nokia phone with the buttons, right? But how smart are we? Use the resources available. The T stands for time. You need to give your money time to grow. It's like, the wine. The longer you keep it, it's better. Similarly, you need to give time for your money to grow. And the E and the R, again of the smart, as I said, dil mange more. I said, why restrict it to smart? I said, we should be smarter. The E stands for equity. If you keep your money in the bank, there is a silent killer. Like I say, in every movie, there is a hero, there is a heroine, but there is a villain. The villain in our life is inflation. So I've seen people planning their money, but inflation eats into it. It is the power of purchase, the purchasing power of money. 100 rupees that would give me something 5 years back, today I get lesser value with that. So we need to ensure that if you're putting it in an FD, you make it 6%. But if you put it in equity and give it time, it gives you around 12 to 15% year on year.
Absolutely.
So that's what you need to do. And finally, the R, which is review. Have a money date. I keep telling youngsters, love to have dates, but have a money date with yourself. Sit down, understand what are the leakages, what is the amount you're saving, what is the amount you're investing. Today we see, when I talk to my son, I realize, okay, he's got subscriptions of Spotify, he's got subscriptions of Audible, then there is Netflix. You don't realize. So leakages are happening. It's like a bucket up, dal rahe ho, lekin it's leaking. So we need to plug those leakages and ensure. So in short, first thing is start today.
Another ongoing debate which says that there are a group of people who कहते हैं कि we should have our own house, and कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि हमें rented house भी चलेगा क्योंकि at the end of the day हमने साथुरा लेके जाना है.
Right.
So what is your take on it?
See, in India, when some years back, it's a very emotional thing. Like, I have been with clients where I've sat down where they say, the house is very, very emotional to me. I need a place where I can ensure it is safe, secure. Ki God forbid, kal agar main rental mein rahu or kal I have to vacate the place, I cannot do that. But things are changing. Today, we are not stuck to maybe one place where we are working. Today, I've seen people working in IT industry or maybe in media industry. They keep moving around. Sometimes they would be in Mumbai, they would be in Hyderabad, they would be in Delhi. In that case, a rental option is much better. So there's no cookie cutter formula, as I said, ki how it's better or this is better. It is your choice. It's how you want to live. What is your lifestyle goal? How do you want to give it? When you look at the EMIs and all those things, that's a different calculation altogether. But ultimately, it is about the power of choice and how you and what profession you are into and where you are staying.
So Nita, you have listened to or must have attended a lot of financial gurus lectures or their talk to them. Which is that one financial advice which stayed with you?
So I've listened to a lot of people, but the one person, Warren Buffett, is something he says, very simple, as I said in the beginning as well. It's not about how much money you make, it's what you keep from what you make. And I'm telling you, that thing has really helped me. And I have shared it in this book as well, a simple formula of 6 envelopes. Even if you're earning 1,000 rupees today, Rahul, you can actually just follow that formula. Even if someone is earning 10,000 or a crore, just follow that simple formula. You can play with the percentages. For example, this would be the advice. If you're having 1,000, say 50% is your necessities, for example. So 50% will go into the first envelope. The next are 5 envelopes, which is 10% if I'm giving an example now. So one is where you're investing in yourself. If you want to do good in your profession, you need money to invest, right? You need money to save. So upskill yourself from time to time. So invest in yourself, in your education. Invest, pamper yourself as well. Like youngsters today feel ki, why should I only keep on investing? Kal kisne dekha hai? Like I have this discussion with my son as well. Mom, I want to enjoy today. I don't know what about 55 or 60. So fine, you need to keep some amount even. Take care of yourself. But 110% of that 1,000 should go into your financial freedom envelope. That is something which is fill it, shut it, forget it. Don't touch it. That is when you want to decide, like you said, that leap of faith. That's when this will give you that power of choice. So even 10% that you put aside on a regular basis will help you. And I also talk about give, because once you start giving, either it could be initially in the form of time or contribute to someone who would really need it, that is maybe a 5% or 10% can be put into that. So like this, there are 6 envelopes. I would suggest everyone should buy this book. It's not just for women. It's for everyone.
Yeah, it's gender neutral. Yeah.
Yes. And I have focused on women because there was no specific book on women with sharing these examples where they could actually, because women are, it's very different when women, they feel guilty. They feel, oh, the man does it much better. They find it very complex. True. So that's the reason why, and my main objective of writing this book, because I thought if the woman of the house learns it, she will be able to have money conversations at home. Today it's time to have dinner conversations about money. It's no longer a taboo topic like sex. We can talk about these things. Absolutely. And we can start from an early age.
आपने advices तो बहुत सारी दे दी. And you have been like, if I classify, आपने 2 generations देख लिए and everything trends or changes with time. Money also. Right. And the way we treat money. जैसे पहले शायद आज से when you started working with finance, it was FD which was in trend. आजकल शायद बिटकॉइन है या और भी बहुत सारी चीजें. आपको क्या लगता है what will be the future of it? अगर आप सिर्फ finances से बात करें.
So if I'm talking about finances, I think first we need to keep it simple. As I said, very important first to have an emergency fund. Very important to have your risk management in place. After that, investing comes in. When it comes to investing, it's always better to have a proper asset allocation. It's very simple. It's like a balanced diet, Rahul. You cannot just have carbs. You cannot just have protein. You need to have a proper mix. Now, Bitcoin is at the extreme risky end, whereas FDs and savings are at the extreme conservative end. There is a midway. So when you start off, normally I tell even my young adults and people who are just starting off, first build a good corpus through mutual funds. And simultaneously start investing maybe in stocks, but about companies that you are aware of. Study it. Don't go blind. Because that could be risk. So you need to do, and today if you tell, I know my son as well, if I tell him don't do this, he will want to try it out. So I would say yes, if you want to experiment, go ahead and experiment. But maybe with just 5% of what your income or what your investment budget is.
और अभी आपको मुझे नहीं लगता कि इस किताब को लेने में कोई भी रिस्क लगेगा. Only maybe like 0.1% of what you earn. So be financially smart. Buy this book. ये cover भी बहुत अच्छा है, and you can judge this book by its cover as well.
Like I said, this is not just a book. This is a guide. This is a movement. It's a financially smart movement because this can really help change the economy. This can really help make us, each one of us, and help us lead a healthy, wealthy, and stress-free lifestyle. That is what is important today.